contrast. The state of being strikingly different. The contrasts of Kenya are everywhere. The endless expanse of the Serengeti. The stressful congestion of Nairobi traffic. Tranquility in the vista from Karen toward the Yangon Hills. Desperate images of Kibera, a slum of over 1 million living in abject poverty. Wild animals living as God created them to live. Human strife and struggle for daily bread. Crowded markets, train tracks, and bus stops. The quiet, gentle villages in the hinterland. In one small village on the outskirts of Tala, located 50 miles southeast of Nairobi, you will find contrast. The contrast of innocence and evil. Childlike hope and uncertain survival. In this small building, with a few bunk beds, a garden, and a few sacks of grain, you find the home of New Scent Center International. The center, founded by Flora McCauley, has been operating for a little over 3 years, and now is a registered Kenya government child rescue center. When you meet the girls of New Scent, you will see that their joy, excitement, and exuberance hides an ugly contrast. Each child has been rescued from sex trafficking and abuse.
New Scent Center is about rescuing young girls off the streets of a community in Kenya from predators in their own community and in their own home. Flora, the founder, has gathered 25 girls so far with a vision to collect another 15 for a capacity of 40 young girls that can be sheltered in this safe space.
When I come here, or when I hear Flora talk, when I hear her stories of these individual girls, it kills. And I would say a seasoned, hardened veteran of development. But every time I hear the story, my soul is broken on the rock of mercy and grace.
And all she went through was pain and prostitution and motherhood to her siblings and mistreatment by the mother, because the mother would call her in the night, they go sleep with men, they are paid 100 shillings, Kenya shillings, or 200, and then they come back, you know, in the wee hours of the morning, and all the money goes with the mom. And so she learned to do that.
These are tough girls. They're resilient, but they're also children. A statement that Flora made in a briefing we had last week was that our goal with one of these girls, who's an older girl, 14, 15 years old, she's become an adult, and our mission is to give her childhood back.
We heard a little about where we were coming and the story of these young girls and this courageous woman. When we pulled up and opened the door of the van, and I watched Shirley get out and these little girls just fall all over her, I couldn't move. Because here are children that were never given a childhood, that were now responding to new faces and a day of joy with childhood, laughter, and that is a gift that Jesus understood.
I knew we were coming to see some girls who had been rescued. In my mind's eye, I was thinking teenagers, and when I saw how young they were, I wasn't expecting that.
Today we experienced a harsh reality that is evident here in Kenya, but the truth is, it's echoed around the world. It's very challenging that we had to travel 8,000 miles to truly have our hearts broken.
When we first came in here, it was quite amazing to see what has been done for these beautiful, amazing children. And when I walked in here, I see the bunk beds that they have needed for a long time because they slept on the cement floors. And they prayed, and now they have bunk beds. And then this other little room, it's got one little bed, but it also holds supplies like the ones we brought for them.
I want all of our friends and members of Nashville First Church of the Nazarene to understand that as part of our Kenya partnership, through your faith promise for missions giving, these foodstuffs are the essentials of life: cornmeal, flour, rice, etc. With a small investment of about $150 US, we, through your faith promise giving, are providing the essential food for 25 young ladies here at New Cent, with food to live for 2 weeks. I want you to think about that. 25 young ladies, food for 2 weeks, about $150 total. You provided this. You made this possible. They will eat because you gave, and you've answered their prayers, because they pray for God to provide. They also already prayed that we would be blessed. Now you continue to bless them with your faith promise giving.
Thank you, First Church, for your support and continued support and prayers. We appreciate everything. We pray that you will be
I'm Heidi Shirley Hawes, and I'm the Mercy Director here at Crossroads Church. I helped co-lead the medical mission team to Kenya and really got to see some incredible work being done there, both in Lodwar in Turkana County and the Kakuma Mission Hospital.
So when people think of refugees, I think they do have a preconceived notion on these people. And they think that, that these people have had nothing their whole lives and that they've always been destitute, and some that may be true, but some of them have had professions. So we met pastors, we met people who are working people, and just the circumstance of their home was so harsh and so unsafe that they traveled for days and days and miles to come into the refugee camp. And despite the harshest conditions that you can ever imagine in that refugee camp, the people felt safe, and they may not have been happy living in the refugee camp, but it was a place for them to feel secure and safe, and to have their basic needs provided for them. That's all.
My name is Brian Smith. I'm the executive pastor at Crossroads Nazarene Church. One of the highlights was my daughter was a part of the trip, so to get to share that experience with her, it was just powerful. To have conversations about wealth and poverty, it really is something that began to shape her and who she is as a follower of Christ and her worldview. She had heard stories of poverty, she had driven by it, but to be right in the middle of it was very impactful. And for us, it sparked stories of what's our responsibility? What do we do about when we see the injustices in this world? What should be our response, and how do we deal with that? As I think about Scripture, I mean, they are my neighbor. we can't, we can't just walk by and ignore them and pretend. I mean, we are in the story the person we don't want to be when we just walk by. So it tears at my heart of how do we need to respond? What do we need to do? What's our responsibility as Crossroads? How do we embrace our neighbor? And how do we embrace the neighbor that doesn't look just like us and has a different story than us and has experiences that we don't understand? Where do we step in and share the love of Christ? Not just talk about it, but put it into action.
Church of the Nazarene. My name is Mary Jo Robinson. I currently live and work in Nairobi, Kenya with Strategic Applications International and Servant Forge. Thanks to your support, we've been able to achieve so many goals to date, and we are so excited for what we have in store for 2017. Today, I would like to tell you about one project that I am particularly passionate about, which is called the Waldorf Kakuma Project. The Waldorf Kakuma Project is in the Kakuma refugee camp here in Kenya. The Kakuma refugee camp is one of the largest in the world, is home to refugees from countries such as Sudan, Somalia, Burundi, Rwanda, Ethiopia, and other countries. As you can imagine, life in a refugee camp is quite difficult. Because of this difficult lifestyle in the refugee camp, there's a huge need for vital services to be provided to children and youth who are living in the camp. The Waldorf Kakuma Project has stepped in to provide a variety of services, including providing educational support, psychosocial support, spiritual support, and mental and physical health support. The Waldorf Kakuma Project is focused on first and foremost providing a safe space for children in the camp. This means providing a space for unaccompanied minors or out-of-school minors to come and learn, to be together, to cross ethnic boundaries and really build relationships. With your additional support from Nashville, we will be able to further build the capacity of the Waldorf Kakuma Project in partnership with the Church of the Nazarene presence in the Kakuma refugee camp. This partnership will allow both to provide even more vital services for the children and youth in the Kakuma refugee camp who so desperately need this kind of platform.
When we first started working in Kenya, one of our major focuses was on famine relief. And out of our response to the famine that was happening in Kenya, we discovered that there was significant gender violence taking place in this country and in this culture. In fact, one of the pieces of data or information we discovered from a survey done by Nation magazine was that over 72% of the women in Kenya believe a man has a right to hit them. Well, we feel that's contrary to the gospel. It's about neither male nor female, or Greek nor Jew in this process, and that we needed to do something about it.
SEMA is a youth-targeted initiative that works to address gender-based violence and human rights violations in Kenya. We work with young people between the ages of 16 and 26. We believe that this world can be a better place as long as we engage young people, as long as we engage the generation that exists now in order to create a better world tomorrow.
If we can change the way males view this problem and begin to respond to this problem, we can do a lot to help gender equity in this country. The Semuc Campaign is a partnership with the Kenyan Scouts, which has over 1 million members. Eventually we'll be reaching out to those 1 million members with basic curriculum on respect, dignity, and integrity.
1 in 4 Kenyan girls will experience gender-based violence in their lifetime, and 45% of Kenyan women have experienced either physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. These are grim statistics, and these are the stories that the world is associating with Africa, stories of poverty, of war, of violence. But what we're trying to do is change these stories. We are saying that indeed this is a narrative about Africa, but it's not the only narrative. And we believe that we can do this by working with the younger generation, the youth of Africa.
We've not been able to do this project by ourselves. We've entered into a partnership with the International Justice Mission, Nazarene Compassionate Ministries, the Crossroads Church of the Nazarene, and Nashville First Church of the Nazarene. They've come alongside us as we have sought to come alongside Kenyans. This issue of gender equity is extremely important to the economic and social development of Kenya. It's about respect. It's about recognizing the capacity of all the citizens of Kenya to develop, to grow, and have opportunity. Nashville First Church and their partnership with Nazarene Compassionate Ministries and SAI Servant Forge allows us to bring the gospel into these university situations. And these are for the most part secular universities where students are reflecting and thinking about their future, their opportunities, and we're able to plant the name of Jesus Christ right in the middle of it.
We can create young people, we can create women who are disruptors, women who stand up for the poor and for social justice, just as Christ did. And we believe that this can be a reality. We believe that we are creating impact now, but we can do that at a massive scale. and that as we change a generation today, as we change the young people today, then we're changing the world tomorrow. As long as we make young people part of the change-making process, then there is hope for this world.